In the year 2000, two guys flew to Dallas to sell their struggling little company. They walked into the headquarters of the most powerful name in movie rental on Earth and made an offer. Buy us for $50 million. The room laughed. The CEO fought back a smile. They were, in the words of one of those founders, laughed out of the room. That struggling little company was Netflix. Today, it's worth hundreds of billions of dollars. The company that laughed? Blockbuster no longer exists. Before we get into why, hit subscribe. Every week on this channel, we break down one wild business decision just like this one. Now, stick around, because this is how the biggest no in business history actually happened, and why it wasn't as dumb as it sounds. To understand the mistake, you have to understand how dominant Blockbuster was. In its prime, Blockbuster had around 9,000 stores worldwide and tens of thousands of employees. For a whole generation, renting a movie and going to Blockbuster were the same sentence. Friday night meant walking the aisles, arguing over a title, grabbing candy at the counter. And here's the secret to how it made money: late fees. Blockbuster reportedly made a massive chunk of its profit from customers returning movies late and getting charged for it, which means the business had a built-in incentive to annoy its own customers. Hold on to that. It matters later. Meanwhile, out in California, a tiny company was building the exact opposite of that experience. Netflix launched in 1998. The legend goes that co-founder Reed Hastings got hit with a $40 late fee on a copy of Apollo 13 and thought, there has to be a better way. The early Netflix model was simple. You picked movies online. DVDs arrived in the mail in those iconic red envelopes. No due dates, no late fees. You kept a movie as long as you wanted, mailed it back, and the next one came. It was the anti-Blockbuster. But in the year 2000, it was also struggling. Netflix was losing money, had only a few 100,000 subscribers, and the dot-com bubble was about to burst. It genuinely needed a lifeline. So Hastings and co-founder Mark Randolph decided to try selling the company to the giant, to the one company that could crush them by simply deciding to compete. They wanted $50 million, and the meeting that followed is now legendary. Picture the room: Blockbuster's Dallas headquarters. On one side, CEO John Antioco and his executives, polished, powerful, running a company worth billions. On the other side, the Netflix guys, who according to Randolph had come almost straight from a company retreat and showed up looking distinctly casual. Hastings pitched the partnership. Netflix would run Blockbuster's online business. Blockbuster would promote Netflix in its stores. Buy us for $50 million. And then, as Randolph tells it, Antioco's face cracked. The corner of his mouth twitched as he fought back a laugh. The executives around the table joined in. The dot-com thing was overblown, they figured. Netflix was a tiny niche player losing money, not a threat. A punchline. They said no, politely but unmistakably. And the Netflix founders flew home, as Randolph put it, laughed out of the room. Quick pause. If you love these turning point moments in business, subscribe. This channel lives for the decision that changed everything. Now here's what most people get wrong. That no wasn't purely stupidity. There was a real, rational reason behind it. And that reason is the actual lesson. It's easy to call Antioco an idiot. But put yourself in his chair in the year 2000. Broadband barely existed. Streaming a movie over the internet was science fiction. It would take hours to download and look terrible. Netflix's mail model was clever but small. And Blockbuster's late fee-fueled machine was printing money right now. Worse, Blockbuster's business model actively fought against change. Remember those late fees? A huge share of profit came from them. Netflix's whole pitch was, no late fees. For Blockbuster to embrace the Netflix model, it would have had to voluntarily destroy one of its biggest profit streams. This is the trap that kills giants. It's called the innovator's dilemma. The very thing making you rich today makes it almost impossible to adopt the thing that will save you tomorrow. Blockbuster wasn't blind. It was hooked on a revenue stream it couldn't bear to give up. And then the ground shifted. Broadband spread fast. And Netflix, which had been quietly waiting for exactly this, launched streaming in 2007. Suddenly, the DVD in the mail wasn't even the point. You could watch instantly, on demand. No envelope, no store, no late fee, ever. Blockbuster actually tried to fight back. It launched its own online service and even killed late fees for a while. For a moment, around 2004 to 2007, it was genuinely competitive. But it was carrying thousands of expensive physical stores, mountains of debt, and executives who kept treating the internet as a side project instead of the main event. Leadership churned. The debt got heavier, and the company that could have bought its killer for pocket change filed for bankruptcy in 2010. Netflix, that same year, was well on its way to becoming a global powerhouse. Today, there's exactly one Blockbuster store left on Earth, in Bend, Oregon. A museum piece. Netflix rewired how the entire planet watches television. One no in a Dallas conference room. That's the fork in the road. So, what do we actually take from this? The easy lesson is, don't laugh at small competitors. True, but shallow. The deeper lesson is about incentives. Blockbuster didn't lose because its leaders were stupid. They lost because their most profitable habit, punishing customers with late fees, was exactly the thing a smarter competitor would attack. Their strength was their blind spot. The money coming in today blinded them to the money disappearing tomorrow. Every dominant company has a version of this. A cash cow so comfortable that questioning it feels insane. Right up until someone outside the building questions it for you. Netflix didn't win because it was lucky. It won because it built the version of the business that Blockbuster was structurally incapable of building itself. So the next time a giant laughs off a tiny competitor, don't ask if the little one is a threat. Ask what the giant would have to give up to compete. Because that answer, the thing they can't bear to lose, is usually exactly where they'll be beaten. So here's a question for you. What's the next giant no you want us to dig into? Drop the company name in the comments below. This channel exists to find the next one.